everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. I have just witnessed Norwich City 3, Ipswich Town 0 in the East Anglian derby. Norwich coming through with some really clinical finishing, a really early goal, and then Pookie doing the damage in the second half. But the big headline, Paul Lambert red carded at half time and sent to watch the second half from up in the stands. Norwich back to the top of the league. Ipswich stay at the bottom. Here is how the teams lined up. Norwich unchanged. Krull in goal. Aarons, Zimmerman, Godfrey, Lewis, the back four we're familiar with. Vrancic and Tribal are the holding midfielders. Buendia off to the right. Stiepermann is in the 10 position. Hernandez down the left with Teemu Pukki up the top. Ipswich lining up. Bielkowski in goal. James Bree, Luke Chambers, Matt Pennington. No James Collins today. And the final member of the back four, Jonas Knudsen, who's brought back for the Norwich game. Remember, he's scored against Norwich twice before. He looked like he was leaving the club. Paul Lambert said him and his agent are looking to do something during January. It hasn't happened. No one came in for him. We think if Gary Rowett hadn't gone from Stoke, maybe that's where he was due to go, but then he got fired. So Knudsen back in from the cold in for this game. Now Ipswich's system is something they have not done for a while. So Skews is the holding midfielder. Chalobah and Nolan either side of him. Judge is in the 10 position, so depending on how you look at it, it's either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-2, 4-4-2 diamond. Keane and Sears appeared to be operating as a front two. Whichever way you look at that, Ipswich very, very narrow, which will take us in to the action that occurred 1 minute and 20 seconds into this game. If Norwich thought they got a good start at Leeds last week, well, my goodness me, they got an even better one. The game sets up. Ipswich get the ball forward early. Everyone's taking their positions, and it goes out to Aarons, the right fullback. Ipswich, like I said, were very narrow. There wasn't normally we might have Sears wide one side, Judge, where you get the cover for your fullback, but the cover was John Nolan in a kind of inside centre midfield position. And Aarons, he gets the ball, he moves forward and thinks, oh my God, I've got the whole right channel to aim at. And he does exactly the right thing, straight down the line. He keeps going and going and going. Knudsen's tucked in behind. So Aarons is able to put the cross in. And from then on, frankly, it's an utter mess. I think Hernandez gets the first shot off on the volley, which is blocked. It balloons up in the air. Vrancic then heads at goal. I think he gets a kick in the face while he's doing that. It comes back, it bounces out. Norwich have filled the box. It falls to Hernandez, who had the initial shot. He hits it left-footed, 6 yards out, smashes it into the goal, and unbelievably, Norwich take the lead after 1 minute and 20 seconds, I think they said, on the PA system. And I do genuinely think it's down to Ipswich in this narrower formation, hadn't quite got their bearings, hadn't quite sorted themselves out on the pitch, and they got absolutely suckered for it. 1-0 Norwich. Hernandez. 5 minutes, corner cleared, back to Buendia. He swings the cross in there and it's headed over on the near post. Ipswich not only narrower than usual, but they seem to have ditched their attempts to play football out from the back. Every goal kick, defence up to halfway line is going long, and very, very much a direct style straight into Keane. The idea with Sears off him and Judge behind him to sweep all that up. Some people thought Lambert might have done that maybe a couple of months ago, said, look, have we got the players to play our way out of this mess? No, let's go direct. I'm sure Mr. McCarthy would have approved of this style. 7 minutes, Aarons has started the game really, really well. Unsurprisingly, he's got the bit between his teeth. He beats Knudsen to get to the byline, crosses to the near post. Pookie can't get his shot on target. 14, Ipswich pressing, Judge crosses. Sears is on the near post. He gets a really good touch on this to take him in behind the defence. He's well marshalled difficult angle and he gets blocked out. 2 corners here. The first one, they play short to Skews, the kind of old Darren Anderton, Teddy Sheringham corner. He's blocked out. The second one, this is actually a good chance. It's a flat corner, Norwich doing their zonal marking. Presumably this is scouted, so Chambers comes off the back of it. Obviously no one presses him, completely free header, middle of the goal, 10 yards out, and he heads it way over the top. 19, Buendia forward down the right, drifts in, feeds Vrancic, him with the first timer. Right foot, I think this time, over the top, well over. 21 minutes, it seems very, very clear that Ipswich are totally set up to basically counter what Norwich are doing. They're quite happy to man-mark Norwich completely from all the goal kicks, force them to take long goal kicks, then obviously quite a lot of goal kicks because Ipswich was playing direct, squeeze up, and frankly it did work. It was a system that did blunt Norwich for much of the first half. They're having their best spell, Ipswich, in the middle of the first half. Lots of territory, not really managing to get behind at any point, but I think you're playing away at the top of the league. I think their intention to blunt Norwich did seem to be working for this period. Ipswich having the territory though, Norwich, we know what they're like. They don't need half a chance. They have the danger. Hernandez battles with Bree down the left-hand side. Poor clearance by Chalobah, steeper man, angle drive, left side of the box, right across the goal. Just misses the far post, not by much. Good play by Ipswich on 26, worked left to right. Knudsen onto Judge, onto Chalobah, shoots 25 yards. Reasonable sight of goal here, panics a little bit and puts it over the top. Skews on Vrancic now. Skews has committed 3-4 fouls by this point, so he takes a yellow card. Buendia whips the free kick in. Stupman's up at the back post. He gets blocked out and actually ends up in the stand behind the goal there. We saw a painful one of those for Chambers a few weeks ago. Big one forward on 38 here. Keane robs Zimmerman. Zimmerman kind of wins it, but Keane comes in from behind him, feeds Judge into the box, shifts it on to his right foot. Good sighter here. He gets the right line. He's going to try and curl into the corner. Not enough pace on it. Best moment for Ipswich really in the first half. Krul down, makes the save to his left. Now, mid 30 minutes, Sears gives he has a bad touch and he goes 50-50 with Tribal. He bashes his right knee, tries to play on, but here on 42, out he goes. Ellis Harrison comes on, and I guess if you're going to play direct, there's no harm having a bigger guy on there. Shame for Sears. 42, free kick loaded in. Harrison straight into the action. Here it breaks to Judge, left-footed into the side netting. Must have come off a yellow there because a corner results from it. Judge puts the corner in. Knudsen on the near post. Heads over, and here we get the big flashpoint. So Vrancic, I think it was from the corner I just mentioned, gets hurt. There's a bit of dialogue between Vrancic and the Norwich bench. Tetty quickly gets himself ready. So Tetty is forward with a couple of the Norwich staff. The ball goes up to halfway line and Aarons gets absolutely clattered. Now, I don't know if I'm seeing things here. I thought it was Judge that commits the foul, but in the end, Nolan gets booked. So Aarons gets clattered. Everyone comes off the Norwich bench. This often happens with fouls in front of the dugout. You know, they try and protest, and you know, they're fine if they're inside the technical box. Farker comes forward as well. All the players start to come in, and we start to get one of these Royal Rumbles that tend to happen. Most of the players doing this business of, you know, oh, come on, calm down, pushing everybody away, you know, when frankly if they just walked away from it, nothing would transpire. I think Godfrey and Chambers were a little bit maybe the gobbiest of everybody from what I saw in that ruckus. The weird thing is it seems to calm down, and then one of the Norwich staff says something and Paul Lambert goes absolutely apoplectic. I don't know what happened here. You've got loads of stewards and you've actually got policemen in there as well, and then all of a sudden the two benches all start to go at each other and you get a lot of pointing and finger wagging at this particular Norwich member of staff. Lambert's extremely aggressive and the Norwich member of staff is extremely talkative. It all simmers down. There's a policeman that brings Lambert away and he's still yapping. The ref's kind of standing there thinking, what the hell is going on here? He books Nolan, so correct me if I'm wrong, it all happened quickly. If Nolan was the one who clattered Aaron's, then Nolan takes a yellow card. Then he goes and speaks to the fourth official. Out comes the red card. He walks over to the Norwich member of staff. Excuse me, I don't know who it was. Someone told me Christoph Fluthman, probably. I don't know if that's correct or not. Forgive me, I'm not an expert on Norwich backroom staff. And as soon as that red comes out, we all know what's coming next. Over he goes to Paul Lambert, and Paul Lambert is red carded from the touchline. Incredible stuff. We knew there was going to be a Lambert narrative on this game, but for him to actually be red carded, really, I don't know whether he set the best example to his players there. He really did lose it for a few seconds, and off he goes. So Lambert, embarrassingly, is going to have to watch the second half from just behind up in the dugout. I don't know what the rules are, whether he now receives a touchline ban, whether he can communicate in future games. And the really bad thing from this point of view is, after all of this, Vrancic goes off and Teti goes on. Vrancic, a big loss to Norwich. Obviously, Teti very experienced. I guess the idea being now that Tribal is going to be the playmaker and Teti's going to look after him. But Ipswich lose their manager, which is a much, much bigger loss. Lambert will be very disappointed with that. I was sitting fairly close in the corporate bit there, so I did get a fairly good view, but anyone saw anything I didn't, let me know in the comments down below. On we go, second half. Norwich noticeably start to miss Vrancic, and Ipswich noticeably start to win the physical game. Particularly Chalobah starts to play well. 57, Białkowski, big one forward. Chalobah onto it, he drives forward, slows a lovely ball through to Harrison. Harrison is in behind. He pulls the trigger right-footed, great block by Zimmerman across the back. Lewis takes a yellow on Chalobah. The game is getting niggly, lots and lots of fouls, but Ipswich are on top and they're winning the physical battle, like I said. 62, mistake from Bree. Norwich pounce on it. Hernandez onto it to Lewis. He crosses, headed out. Teti, he's arriving. He doesn't quite know what to do, and he kind of half tries to sort of controls it wide, basically, in the end. Ipswich on top, like I say. Chalobah has a really good sort of 10-15 minute period driving from midfield. Long throw down the line. Keane flicks it on. Lucky bounce for Judge. It falls to Judge on the edge of the D. Hits it low. Right-footed. Krul's looking at this one. Big dive just wide. Ipswich are on top. But what happens next? Oh, and it's been happening to Ipswich all season. So fallible at the back. Norwich not in the game. Ipswich unable to capitalise. And Norwich go 2-0 up. And it's an Ipswich mistake, frankly. It's a long one forward. Pennington is in the left centre-back position, and he puts it in the worst place he possibly can. Inside, infield to Buendia. Norwich hadn't been able to get Buendia or Hernandez or Stiepermann into good positions for all of this first 20 minutes of this half. But Ipswich put Buendia in the position themselves. He drifts infield, and it is clinical from Norwich from here on. He plays the ball into the channel. Pukki, obviously, as soon as he sees Pennington give it away, he's on his bike. He's pulled off Chambers. It's a diagonal ball from Buendia. Pukki is moving away from goal, but he is a brilliant finisher. And I saw this exact position. I saw Norwich play at Reading. I think he takes that one with his right foot. I don't recall whether he takes a touch or not, but early shot, and it's a great finish by Pukki. Really low. Białkowski can't get down to it. And it is 2-0. Norwich absolutely clinical. Ipswich were on top, and that was the killer moment, the killer goal. Mistake by Pennington. Buendia, Pukki, and he's been doing it all season. He's been a brilliant signing for Norwich. Pukki gets the goal. It's 2-0. And Ipswich now start to lose their shape and their heads a bit. They were in it, and they got sucker punched there. What a chance here. Pennington blasts out of defence. He's got the mistake in his head. He's gone a bit kamikaze. He thinks he's Beckenbauer. And he leaves a gaping hole at the back. It breaks for Norwich. They're 2-on-1. It's Steeperman going through. He needs to play a little one round the corner, and Pookie is completely clear and will inevitably score if he gets through, but he waits a little bit too long, Steeperman, and he's blocked out, I think, by Chambers there. Steeperman with a corner on 72, headed in at the near post. It's disallowed. I don't know whether there's some climbing or whatnot. Ipswich players losing their head, their shape, their discipline a little bit. Although I will say Steeperman and Chalobah getting into it a little bit before. Horrible dive by Steeperman. Pretends Chalobah has stamped on his toe and falls to the floor. Steeperman, you're a good player. You don't need that type of shithousery. Not impressed by that at all. On 73, Bishop comes in for Skews, and here opens up the entire central midfield as Ipswich at least try and chase the game a little bit. Tribal takes a yellow on Bishop, then Steeperman takes a yellow on Bishop, 75 and 78. Ipswich engineer it through the middle here. Is helped on a couple of times. Chambers is up from the set play. He takes a right footer, but it's a weak shot. Not the guy you want to fall to. And on 80 minutes, I said there was a gaping hole after Skews goes off, and Norwich exploits it. We can't say enough times how clinical Norwich have been this season. The way they transition from a kind of walking pace in the middle third to this explosive final third with Pookie's movement and finishing is frankly very, very impressive. Buendia gets into the 10 position. He drives to the edge of the box, slips it in behind. Pookie, of course, has made the right run because that's what he does. Białkowski comes out. It's a race between Pookie and Białkowski. Very similar to a Cameron Jerome goal that was shown a million times on the big screen before the game. Pookie pokes it around Białkowski. It is 3-0 to Norwich. 3 shots on target, 3 goals. That is how you do it, I'm afraid. Campwell in for Steeperman on 84. Possibly a red card risk. Steeperman now booked. Downs in for Nolan also on 84. The midfield freshened up there for both teams. Harrison feeds Judge in the box. Great turn by Judge. Nice pirouette. Poor finish though by him with the left foot. On comes Jordan Rhodes for 3 minutes. But there is no doubt who the main guy is at Carrow Road. It's Timu Pukki. He goes off to a well-deserved ovation. On 89, bit more unseemly stuff. We don't need to see this. Downs absolutely smashes Buendia. He takes a yellow card, and we get more of this bullshit. All the players kind of in on each other. It's 3-0, guys. Let's just see this out and go home. I don't think Downs got... Did Downs get a yellow card? Possibly he did. Yes, he did, sorry. Campwell also gets booked. I don't know whether he mouthed off or whatever. 90 plus 1. Judge to Harrison to Bree. Bishop arrives in the box. Good position here. Possibly a better chance than I thought, but I'd zoned out of this game by now. Bishop fires it over the top. So look, top against bottom in the end. Well, Norwich dropped down yesterday, but they're top of the league now. I didn't expect Ipswich to win. Norwich very, very clinical. The early goal really set Ipswich back. And then, I hate to say it, no amount of bias. I thought between about the 18th minute and literally the second Norwich goal in the 65th minute, I thought Ipswich actually played well. Okay, this wasn't a football match with Ipswich out footballing Norwich. Ipswich set up to stop Norwich playing and breaking their lines, and I thought they were actually very effective. They tried to squeeze up, make Krill play long, everyone pressing in quite heavily, and I thought they were quite successful in Norwich, stopping Norwich playing their normal game. And then I would say for the first 20 minutes of the second half, they actually looked a reasonable threat. I know the caveat to that is how many good chances were created. Not that many, but you just have to be really honest about this. Norwich are a better team and have better players than Ipswich. I actually thought Ipswich played it quite well, but we know with Ipswich, it must be 15 away games now in a row. They just concede so many goals. It's a Pennington mistake. Pookie's clinical, and then really at 2-0, I think Ipswich lost the shape. They lost their discipline. Lost their heads a little bit. It got a bit niggly, and Norwich picked Ipswich off for the third goal. So from a Norwich point of view, on they march. They didn't dominate Ipswich, but obviously 3-0 is 3-0. 3 shots on targets, 3 goals, and Pookie, that guy is clinical. He gets given, to be fair to him, he gets given good chances, but no, actually, I'll say that first goal, that's not an easy chance, and he just took it so clinically. So Pookie, great job up front for Norwich. In terms of Norwich's performance, obviously Buendia, when it mattered, provided the 2 assists, and Aaron's for the first 15-20 minutes was excellent. But I've seen Norwich a few times, and Ipswich, I think, did a fairly good job on Norwich for that middle period, but just too strong and too clinical in the end. Norwich, I think everybody, Ipswich or Norwich watching, would admit that. From an Ipswich point of view, it'd be very interesting now to see if they now persist with having men around a big guy up front and playing a lot more direct. I have to say, they looked a lot more competitive than they have done trying to play out from the back the past away games and just getting picked off over and over again. Look, it looks very good for Norwich. They're looking very strong for promotion. There is no Wolves in this league. Leeds are slightly falling apart. West Brom are a little bit behind. Sheffield United, have they got the squad? It's there for Norwich to do it now. Although, let me tell you, I saw Preston a couple of weeks ago. That's not an easy game, and they will mix it up as well and roughhouse it when they need to. For Ipswich, like I say, will they go direct now for the rest of the season and try and scrap it out and win that way, in the same way that we see Rotherham and Bolton doing? Will Paul Lambert receive a suspension now and not be on the touchline? Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you Norwich fans for the feedback from Jack Reeves' Talk Norwich City podcast. That was very well received. There were a lot of comments on it being a nice grown-up chat between opposition fans. So with that being said, I'm really interested in everybody's comments, but for God's sake, let's keep it not too childish in the comments, please. We're all grown adults. We're all football fans. We've all seen the same game. There isn't really any need for some of the crap we get in the comments down here. Looking for your opinions on Ipswich, your opinions on Norwich. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. I'll be on the Blue Monday podcast as well tonight. Check that out. Please hit subscribe. Get involved in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and perhaps I won't be back here for a while, but hey, I don't really enjoy coming here, so I'm quite happy to say over and out, and thank you for watching.